In a move sparking significant debate, New York Judge Juan Merchan partially lifted a gag order against former President Donald Trump. This decision comes just before a major presidential debate, allowing Trump to talk publicly about witnesses and jurors from his recent hush money trial, while still restricting comments about individual prosecutors, court staff, and their families until his sentencing on July 11th. The gag order initially barred Trump from commenting on several aspects of his trial, including witnesses like his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, and adult film actress Stormy Daniels. This trial, which concluded with Trump's conviction on 34 counts of falsifying business records, was a high-profile moment, making Trump the first U.S. president to be convicted of a felony. Throughout the trial, Trump's legal team argued that such restrictions violated his First Amendment rights and stifled his ability to defend himself publicly. Fox News commentator Greg Jarrett criticized the original gag order as a warped and senseless restriction that should have been lifted immediately after the trial's conclusion. Jarrett highlighted that silencing a presidential candidate infringes on the candidate's free speech and the public's right to hear political discourse. He went further to criticize the New York Appellate Court for overlooking this fundamental constitutional issue. Conversely, the Manhattan DA's office supported the court's initial gag order to protect the integrity of the judicial process. They argued that without such restrictions, the risk of threats, harassment, and harm to court staff and jurors would significantly increase. The judge himself noted his strong preference to maintain protections for the jurors, but felt compelled by law to allow broader public commentary post-trial. Liberal media sources tend to focus on the justification for the gag order, emphasizing the need to protect the judicial process and those involved from potential harm. They often highlight the severity and specifics of Trump's convictions, including attempts to cover up a hush money payment to Daniels, which Trump denies. From a conservative perspective, the partial lifting of the gag order is seen as a step towards restoring free speech rights that were unfairly stripped from Trump. Conservative media argue that this trial and the gag order exemplify a broader pattern of unfair treatment and judicial overreach against Trump. Trump's campaign spokesperson, Stephen Chung, condemned the gag order as blatantly un-American, reflecting discontent with perceived bias in the judicial system. Trump himself, in interviews following his conviction, has criticized the jury and the nature of the trial, labeling Manhattan a very liberal Democrat area and arguing that the trial venue contributed to an unfair verdict. Despite these criticisms, the judge continues to enforce restrictions on comments about court personnel, reinforcing that some limits on speech are necessary until Trump's sentencing. In summary, this contentious decision underscores a clash between upholding judicial integrity and defending free speech rights. As the presidential campaign heats up, such rulings will likely continue to fuel debates over fairness, constitutional rights, and the proper balance of power within the American legal system.